Hello everyone, my name is Bongkarn Ouynok, and now you're watching English with Kru Show. Today I'm gonna let you know how to describe a monster. Well, have you ever seen a monster before? Where did you see it? Do you like it? And what does it look like? For me, I used to watch a movie called Monster Inc. and there's a big monster in it. It looks like a bear. It's got two horns on its head. It's got two hands. Oh no, I mean claws. It's got two claws and there are 4 fingers for each claw. It's got 2 legs and 2 feet, but there are only 3 toes for each foot. It's got a long tail and its body is covered in fur. Now, let me tell you about the objectives of this lesson. After studying this lesson, you will be able to pronounce and tell the meaning of the vocabulary about describing monsters, talk about monsters, answer the questions about monsters' appearance, and write sentences to describe a monster. Okay, now, let me ask you some questions, and I'm gonna let you think about them. What can you see in this picture? What do they look like? How do you feel when you see this? Do you like them? What are they? Yes, they are monsters. Now I have some vocabulary that you're gonna have to know and use them to describe monsters in this lesson. I'm gonna show you the pictures and you repeat after me, and then I'm gonna give you some examples. Is that okay? Okay, now let's get it started. The first word is scales. 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 Now, let's imagine I'm a monster and I have scales on my body. You will say, this monster has got scales all over its body. Next, fur. 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 Imagine I'm a monster again and I have fur on my body. You will say, its body is covered in fur. Next, tentacles. 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 Imagine I'm a monster again and I have tentacles on my face. You will say, this monster has got tentacles on its face. Next, claws. 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 I'm a monster and I have very sharp claws. You will say, this monster has got very sharp claws. Next, glowing. 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 I'm a monster and I have glowing eyes which are scary. You will say, this monster has got scary glowing eyes. Next, horns. 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 I'm a monster and I have long horns on my head. You will say, this monster has got long horns on its head. And the last one, fangs. 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 I'm a monster and I have very sharp and strong fangs. You will say, this monster has got very sharp and strong fangs. Okay, now I'm gonna let you do worksheet 1. You have 5 minutes to finish this worksheet. Okay, start now. Alright, now let's take a look at handout 1. You can use these sentence structures to describe a monster. Now let's look at the first box. To tell what a monster looks like, you can say it looks. For example, it looks like a bear. It looks like an elephant. It looks like a cow. Something like this. Okay? Good. Now, let's look at the next box. You can use it has got or it's got, and there is or there are, to tell what that monster has. For example, it has got 2 horns, scary claws, small fangs. There are tentacles on its face and scales all over its body. Something like this. And now, please take a look at the last box. You can use covered in or covered in to tell that the monster is covered in something. For example, this monster is covered in fur or is covered in scales. Okay, now let's describe a monster. I have a monster, and this is how I will describe it. It looks like a bear. It's got 2 horns on its head. It's got sharp teeth. It's got 2 arms with claws, and there are 4 fingers for each claw. It's got 2 legs and feet, and there are 3 toes for each foot. Its claws are very sharp. It's got a long tail. The whole body is covered in fur. Now it's your turn to describe a monster. But before describing it, you need to have a monster. I want you to create your own monster. Draw it in the box. Once you finish drawing your monster, please don't forget to describe it by writing the describing sentences below the box, using the information in the handout 1 as a guide. And please practice those sentences in order to present your monsters to your friends. And then film yourselves presenting your monsters and send the video clips into our chat group. Is that okay? Great. Alright, now the class is over. Thank you so much for your participation. Have a good day. Goodbye.